Buckeye fans, welcome in to a film review episode as we recap and relive the Ohio State Buckeyes 37-9 victory over the Ohio Bobcats. Thanks everybody for jumping in with us tonight on the Buckeye Breakdown podcast here on the Buckeyes Roundtable YouTube channel. Anthony Moeglin alongside my partner, former Buckeye Kevin Woidke. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, take a moment now. Oh, I got my pen in my ear. Take a moment now to do so, and make sure you're heading over to our site, Buckeyes Roundtable. You can get through it real easily through the QR code over Kevin's left shoulder there. Just jump in there. Make sure you're following along with all things Buckeyes over there on the Buckeye Roundtable. Dang, perfect right there. Kev, we haven't talked to you yet. We talked a little pregame or a little pre-show here. What were your main takeaways last night as the Buckeyes rolled to a 37-9 win over the Bobcats?
Slow start, but this was a good team. I mean, they beat West Virginia, who just beat what people say is a good Pitt team yesterday, and that shows you what they got. So I think OU is a good team. I think they're going to run away with the MAC. I mean, they're very talented. I mean, Parker Navarro's he's a seasoned NCAA player, and it showed yesterday. He didn't get rattled. He played well in the first half, and you just got to score when you're down in the red zone. My biggest takeaway is we have stuff to work on in the bye week. Yeah. That's the worst thing. You go in the bye week, you're playing great, like you lose momentum. No, we lost momentum this week, and they got to get better. They got to improve. It is
so fun. It's funny you say that because that was kind of the main takeaway for some of the guys. Like I was talking with Sonny Styles in the post-game media room, and he's like, don't get it twisted now, because I asked him about the bye week, and he said, don't get it mixed up. Like, this isn't an off week for us. This is a big work week, and you could kind of feel, Ryan Day was, like, really, like, just they didn't play clean, right? They moved the ball at will. Julian Saint ended up throwing for nearly 350 yards, which is the most out of any Buckeyes quarterback since C.J. Stroud's Peach Bowl against Georgia. Everyone remembers that game for all the wrong reasons, but they were moving the ball up and down the field. They just weren't punching it in the end zone, and, truthfully, Kev, like, there was a minute in there where it was 13-9 in the third quarter, and it was like, wait, Ohio State's dominating this game, but they're only up 4, right? This is when stuff gets weird, and weird stuff starts to happen, and you kind of could feel that a little bit. Obviously, they worked their way out of it, but I think you make a really good point about, hey, they have some good stuff to work on throughout the bye week here, and that's certainly exciting there. So if you're new to the channel here, every Sunday we come to you with a film review episode. So we're going to pull apart the game. Typically, we get these out in the morning. I got home last night at 4 a.m, so it was I needed to catch some Z's there before NFL kicked off. So a little bit later today, but still one of our favorite shows of the week, because we get into at least talking about what happened on the game through the eyes of the film from two guys who played the sport, and one in Kevin who did it at Ohio State. So as you're in here, drop comments into the comment section. If you like this video, make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you are hitting that subscribe button. So we will get things going here. I'm going to get my computer situated, make sure that we are all good to go. And we get started here. We're going to go chronologically throughout the game on our side of things. So this is the first drive of the football game here, and things get going with Carnell Tate. I saw a tweet today that I thought was perfect, that Carnell isn't a wide receiver 2. He's the number 2 wide receiver 1 on this team, because he was special again last night. We'll get to his big touchdown later in the game, but he finished the game with 5 catches for 101 yards. Again, it's overshadowed by Jeremiah Smith, but the Buckeyes get things going, and Julian Saint starts his day with just a nice, easy completion, and it's going to load here just a little bit. Maybe here we go. Gets a nice, easy completion. It wants to. Make sure we get everything going here. Come on. Well, all right, I'm going to hit pause here real quick. All right, bear with us through some technical difficulties there, but our drive gets going, our game gets going. Ohio State takes the football, gets the football to start, and like last week against Grambling, they started out smooth, started out hot. A nice completion there to Carnell just to get things going and start moving the ball down the field. Now, a big one here. This was fun. This was fun to see and then hear what what Julian had to say after the game, because it was very much so a point of emphasis for Julian after 2 weeks to get more air under his footballs. He even said it to us in the post-game press conference that, hey, I need to get the ball way up in the air to let Jeremiah and Carnell and Brandon just be able to adjust to it better. This one was probably a little too much. As we see it here, we get a little play action fake, and he throws one. I mean, this literally was dropped from the moon, but it drops right into the hands of Jeremiah Smith inside the red area. And on this catch, Kevin, Jeremiah set the Ohio State record as the fastest wide receiver to reach 1,500 yards in his career. It took him 19 games. He did it faster than Jackson Smith and Jigba and Michael Jenkins, who both needed 20 games to reach that mark. So a really cool honor, a really cool, I guess, milestone eclipsed for Jeremiah, as he's only 19 games into his Ohio State career.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to the top of that, Anthony, the other part you got to look at is, I mean, the safety bit so hard on the play action. You see him come all the way down. No, the other one.
This one.
The top guy comes all the way down, and then you see him put the brakes on. I mean, they transitioned to like a cover 3 look almost, but I'm thinking it was supposed to be cover 4 because that guy bites. Yeah. And then this guy drops into basically a cover 3, could have been a Tampa 2. But, I mean, the other thing to look at is the offensive line doesn't really give it away. None of them are really that. Austin's a little deep in his set. But if you're running play action, you want to be as close to the line of scrimmage, jump setting people as much as you can so that it bites that safety up, so it is one-on-one coverage over the top if they do take a shot.
So, Kev, here's a question for you, and this is talking specifically inside the box here. So if we're looking at the line of scrimmage right here, I know we used to run it. We had 2 different types of play action, if you will. Everyone, outside of football just knows play action. Every time you fake a run, that's just play action. We had run actions and play actions, where the run action was an actual like, hey, we're going to sell run and really, get the lineman trying to really sell it. And then we had play actions where it was just kind of a token fake to try to mess with the eyes in the backfield. Is that something that you used to, when you played, you guys implemented, or is that kind of a foreign concept to you, what I kind of just explained?
I mean, like the way you're describing it makes sense. We never talked about it like that. We were more so just, here's the play, here's how you block the play, not so much like, hey, this is a run action versus play action.
Yeah. No, definitely understood. And you can kind of see the difference here, right? Like everybody's high hats up front, and that's exactly what you were explaining. But what I will say, and we'll get to this kind of throughout the game, like this has been a consistent theme, the last 2 weeks, and it should be, right? When you're playing guys, we're playing Grambling State, you're playing Ohio, Julian should never have anybody by him, and he didn't all game long. And this is funny, right? This would be a lot of fun to just throw the ball. Your number 1 receivers 2 yards behind the cornerback, but you're saying, hey, he's wide open because he just puts his head down and runs, makes a nice catch.
I mean, only with someone like Jeremiah can you run only have 3 receivers go out on a route.
Yep.
And still gain. I didn't know what is that from the 49. There's 3 people out in the route. The rest are blocking.
42-yard completion. 3 receivers. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys in coverage.
There's 8 guys in coverage. There's 3 receivers, and he gains
42. I'll help you. 42 yards.
Yeah, from the 49 to the 9. It's crazy. Unbelievable stuff. He's a special player and super lucky that he's one of us. But what we don't love is you get it inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal from about the 8 or 9-yard line after that big catch. We fast forward a couple plays. It's now 4th down. Okay, Ohio State ran it a couple times and had what I will say, you mentioned OU being frisky. Not only were they frisky, but I also thought they were like very well disciplined. And I'll come back to that when we talk about them throughout this show here. But thought they were very well disciplined in their coverage responsibilities and also just getting the job done that needed to be done. So here we go. Ohio State, it's 4th and goal, right? Got to have it situation, excuse me. There's an obvious miss here. I saw it right away during the game, and you're going to see it right now. Julian's eyes are right here, okay? His eyes are to the right side. If he gets through this progression, let's say it does look like the tight end here is on a clear out route, so like not even an option, and then you're just comboing the flat defender, which in this case is the corner. You got a little slant, flat,
right here. This should be so easy right now when this corner just opens up even a touch here. This ball needs to go to C.J. Donaldson in the flat, and that's an easy touchdown. Like, look at that. He's out leveraged. A good throw. There's a catch and score. Super easy. Instead, Julian doesn't trust his eyes all that well. Steps up in the pocket, kind of creates pressure because he's good. You're good. And then ends up rolling into a sack there on fourth down. This was the one you're talking about, dude. We're like, you got to punch this thing in.
Yeah, I mean, the plays leading up to this, I mean, gaining 5 yards in 4 plays in 3 plays is unacceptable.
Yeah.
If you're by the goal line. And I think Ryan Day is going to harp on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the other thing is, like, he steps up. He could have taken another step forward or at least taken a step out to get that D lineman to not be there. But, I mean, the other thing is, like, they were taught that if the quarterback starts scrambling, put your foot in the ground and go the other way. Jeremiah puts his foot in the ground and goes the other way. He's wide open.
Yeah. And you make a really good point here too, man. When he scrambles right here, like immediately he pulls this ball down right now, right? He's done, right? You need to you watch all these. You're going to watch tonight. You're going to watch 2 quarterbacks tonight in Penix and JJ McCarthy, who when you step up in the pocket, you step up as a passer. And this is something where I really think Julian's going to learn from, because if he steps up in this thing as a passer, he's hitting Carnell Tate for a touchdown. Because that's fine that was late to the flat and missed it. But he steps up to run, and now he's screwed, because instead, if he was ready to throw this thing right now, he's throwing it to Carnell. But he's not. So now he panics and has to roll out of it. He makes this sack. This sack is not on Phillip Daniels. This sack is on Julian Sayin. It was disappointing. It was a disappointing start for the Buckeyes. But what the good part is about Ohio State, and one thing that we're going to continue to see as this group gets a lot better, is this defense is totally insane, especially on third down. This is their typical 3rd and long package, right? We got 3rd and 8 here, okay? And you could pretty much cut on – if we were to take these away – like if you were to take this away and you weren't able to see what down and distance it was, you would be able to tell based on 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and 6 DBs. It's a dime package for the Buckeyes, and this is just a terror for opposing quarterbacks because they could blitz, they can blitz from one side, they could overload another side, they could drop into coverage, and they drop into coverage here. They only bring 3 Arvell spies. You drop 8 into coverage, and it doesn't matter that OU sending 5 guys out into the route. Everybody is plastered. Like, look, covered here, covered in the flat. I mean, you could complete that ball in the flat. It's getting tackled. The guys on the outside are covered up. Like, this is exactly what you're looking for when you're looking for Matt Patricia coach defense and NFL style defense. And third down, dude, it's scary for opposing quarterbacks.
I mean, it's crazy to think that the coverage is so good that 3 down linemen almost get home. I mean, you have the QB spy in the middle with Arvell Reese, and you'll see that come up later in the review. But, like, think about it. Like, if he holds us for half a second,
I think that's Kenyatta. Is that maybe?
Yeah, it's Kenyatta.
Yeah,
it's Kenyatta. He gets in there. I mean, that's a hold.
There's Bo coming right there.
Right.
Caden gets stonewalled up front, but like you're right, dude. Like 3, you're getting pressure with 3, dropping 8. Good freaking luck, man. Good luck trying to do anything.
Crazy.
It is pretty nuts. So, all right, a new little wrinkle coming from Ohio State, and we're going to talk running backs here because I know that throughout our weekly shows, running back is a topic of conversation for us. We're always kind of looking at it, and because it does feel like, hey, Ohio State's missing a little bit, missing something in that room. They may have found it in Bo Jackson. But what they also did is found a little bit of creativity. We'll run this through, and then, Kev, let you talk through it in detail here as Ohio State creates a new counter/power look that they haven't shown to this point in the season.
Yeah, so this is obviously 12 personnel, which means – or 21 personnel, which means 2 tight ends are in. In a true counter, that 45, 55, that last guy with his hand in the dirt at the top of the line, D-line, he would be in a 5 technique, and that tight end over there, that top tight end wouldn't be there. So then his job would be contained. And because that tight end is there, the new contain guy is that linebacker who's basically standing on the neon line. So if you watch it play out, this defensive lineman will cut across Philip Daniels' face. So then Philip Daniels has to, what we call rake, like you're raking leaves, rake the guy across his face and then turn it into a down block. Because Philip Daniels' original responsibility is, if you go back, is to leave that guy and climb to the linebacker and let Luke Montgomery sprint down the line of scrimmage and kick out that defensive end. If this is a true counter, that defensive end should be running upfield, and Luke does a good job of adjusting and be like, all right, Philip took my guy, I'm going to go take his. And he loops around and seals that linebacker in. Great blocking by both the tight end, and both tight ends are blocking the same guy. But I think it's Max Clare first.
And then Kasmeric.
And then Kasmeric coming around? I don't know. Go back to the top. I don't know. I can't see the numbers. But I think it's Kasmeric first. Yeah, Max Clare is there. Yeah. So Max Clare's pulling around. He probably should have left that 22. He saw some comb in the hole, so he cleaned it up. But in a perfect world, Kasmeric has that guy settled there, blocking him deep inside, brushes him down, and Max Clare goes up to that safety, and this springs all the way out. Like if Max Clare gets on that safety, watch what would happen.
Yeah, and you see right here,
if that's gets on that safety, Carnell Tate also fell off his block a little bit. You got to finish those too. But I mean, there's no one left.
Yeah,
that number 5 was taking a horrendous angle to the ball. And is that Peoples or is that Bo Jackson?
That is Peoples. It's Peoples on this one. And I'll get these off the screen here so we can let it run through.
Peoples is outrunning both those guys. It's just in a perfect world, and they're probably Keenan's going to teach this in the film room. He's going to tell Max, he's like, hey, keep going up. He's like, I get there was color in the hole. Keep going up. Max had that guy, or Will had that guy. Max, keep going up, and then take that safety. And then if Carnell Tate holds that or is able to continue that block, that was a good play by the defensive back as well.
Yeah, it's crib. This is potential to be a big play. And the good part is, and something that you and I are going to talk about throughout the week here is, when you get to a bye week like this, you can really break tendencies and create new ones, right? So this is a good opportunity for them to introduce something. And they introduced a couple new wrinkles to their offense last night. This was one of them where, hey, they're going to run that power, same side pretty much, and using their athletic backs to start on one side of the quarterback, flip to the other, and then be able to get into the hole, which was super nice there. So a really good wrinkle. We'll see it again here in a little bit. But what we do see here is a familiar play. This one's going to we'll run this all the way through, and this should look very similar to a route that was run in week 1, where Max Clare gets a little bit of revenge here because he dropped this very same route against Texas on 4th down. This one he catches, but you're getting post and you're getting Dover, which is a deep over off of hard run action this way. Julian loops back around, delivers a perfect shot. This is super well done by everybody, and it just shows that, hey, Ohio State didn't lose faith. Your young quarterback didn't lose faith in his guy after a bad drop a few weeks ago, and did a really nice job executing.
Who's at the top of the screen?
I don't know. It's not Jeremiah Smith, that's for sure.
No, is this another tight end?
It might be we might be in 41, a rare 41 here, because if I'm seeing this right, I think that's Will.
No, it'd be 31.
Oh, 31. Yeah, because Carnell does come in. Yeah, that's definitely a third tight end.
Who do they have fast enough on that outside to run a deep post like that?
He doesn't win, so whoever it is, he may have gotten one off there, but 9 falls off. But it's a good – dude, okay, so on that topic, Kevin, though, you bring up a good point. Jokes aside, when you can go with 3 tight ends and run a play like this and use one of those tight ends to run a deep route, that's a hard thing for defenses to game plan for and to be prepared for, because Carnell Tate, who we'll get to in a little bit, is a blocker on this play. Watch 17. He's a blocker. He's staying in and blocking. Maybe he tries to sneak out. But, you're running your routes with tight ends, man. And this is something that not all programs can do, because not all programs have the elite tight ends that Ohio State does.
I mean, is that I mean, just looking at it's not Max LeBlanc. I know Bennett Christian. He was in his jersey. Or didn't have shoulder pads on.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I can't get a clean number on it. Regardless, nice completion. Good eyes by you. I didn't even recognize that.
Coming for a loop.
There you go. Kev's on it, man. Here we go. So now 3rd and 5. This is good. This is a money down here. And again, remember, we're 10 minutes into the game. Okay, so this is kind of getting to weird territory that if you don't complete this pass, Ohio State's likely punting this ball away, and now things are starting to feel not great at a 0-0 game. But Ohio State calls just a bread and butter route where you're going to get double slants in here, and I think this is a nice completion. And Julian predetermines this a little bit because I think he's got Brandon Innes right now with a very easy completion that could go for a lot more, but he kind of sticks on Jeremiah, throws a good ball in there, moves the sticks on 3rd and 5, which was important.
Yeah, I mean, you have that. The only thing I could see him doing is you throw that to Brandon Innes. That's a potential hospital ball because you see that safety lurking right there. It's a good thing he didn't, but you see his eyes follow that football. I mean, if you lead him into him, you're done. Then Brandon Innes is on the ground looking like DJ Moore from Monday night. Just the reality.
Yeah, it's true. Kev, up front, when you get a short pass play called like this, where the ball's coming out, we would identify it like if our normal 6-man protection was 60s, right? If it was trips left 61, all go special would be the call. If we had a quick game up, it would be trips left 361. So the offensive line knew, hey, this ball's coming out quick. We got to make sure the hands are down from our defensive linemen. Is that something that you would focus on and making sure keeping the hands down, maybe punching low, trying to keep their hands down so that they can't get up and bat a ball down?
Yeah, we would do it based on the second number. So depending on if the second number was high or low, we'd kind of alternate it game by game of which one it meant, because we didn't want it to be like. I mean, people talk in college football, and they'd be like, "Hey, this is what this number means. This is what that number means." So we'd switch it back up, but it would always be that second number. First number was how many people were in the protection. So this would have been 60-something because it had 6 men in the protection, 5 linemen and the running back.
Yep.
And then the second number, whatever number it was, or however they were playing it that day, would determine if they were like, hey, do jump sets, which a lot of them do, with the exception of Austin, to get their hands down. They aren't taking deep kick sets. Looking at Philip Daniels at the top, look at him compared to where Austin is after I'll tell you when to stop it. Just keep going.
Up. Here's Austin right here.
Yeah. Just keep going. Austin kicks all the way back there, and he is behind Julian Sayin as Jeremiah is making the catch, whereas Phillips up near the line, closer, is the closest lineman to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. No, it just attacks him. Make sure those hands are all the way down. Yep, you can see Austin, just like you said, all the way back, making sure he's protected out, kind of like running that defensive end by the quarterback. And everybody up front engaging their guys so that, you could see, this is helmet to helmet. This is helmet to helmet. We're all in there so that they can't see that the quarterback's in his throwing motion, can't get those hands up to knock it down. Huge conversion there on 3rd down. Now moving it up a little bit, same drive. Again, you're not loving this. This was consistent. You hate being in 3rd and 8. But Ohio State does a decent job here. Julian does a nice job getting through his progressions. The guys up front do an awesome job protecting. They only get 3.5 guys because you get a spy by the defensive tackle. This guy's in that bat down mode where he's just waiting for Julian to throw it so he can jump up. We'll see that here in a little bit, teaser. But Julian works his way all the way through, finds Jelani. Jelani kind of gets stumbled up. Not good for our podcast there. A pro tight end.
Well, I do want to point something out if you go back one.
Yeah.
If you want the slowest twist of all time, watch this tackle.
Okay, let me rewind it.
Tackle just at the bottom of the 1 in Big Ten.
Yeah, here we go. This guy.
Semi-truck moving there.
Where my cursor's at. Yeesh. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to work.
No. Especially when you're taking that slow. It gives the opportunity for Double T to just do exactly.
Tee off.
Those were the best.
Boom.
Those shots where you knock somebody down and then you're able to fall on top of them over the top. It's the best.
Everybody watch Tegra here on this one. Here's the look. He squares up. Bang. It's awesome.
Billy Price had one of the best one of those knockout shots against Oklahoma my sophomore year. He leveled the dude. Dude didn't see. He didn't even want to play anymore. They're already down like 30 points.
Those guys.
I'm done for the day.
You guys up front, man, live for those shots. I mean, they're huge, and they really do. They pay dividends later in the game when those guys are trying to do those plays, do those twists, do those turns. You guys tee off on them. You know, that really does slow them down. All right, here we go. OU, another 3rd and 10. Right, it was pretty much nothing for OU on offense. You get the 67-yarder, which we'll show in a little bit. But other than that, they had 80 total yards throughout the rest of the game. So they couldn't do much. They couldn't do anything, especially after Navarro went out early in the first quarter. But here you go. They try this little bit of trickery. One guy, Kevin, that you and I have not called out, but have been looking for more from is Bo Atkinson. He finally had his kind of welcome to Ohio State party. He makes Parker Navarro pay for it on this play, and he introduces himself a little bit later on. But Ohio State, OU tries to get Ohio State with some trickery. Caden Curry, Arvell Reese, and the rest of the bunch were in on it.
I mean, that Caden Curry made a great play reacting to it there too.
I mean, he's one of those ones, man. He had a couple of really nice plays. There you go, spinning off of a block. You know, we love Caden Curry, and he had himself a really nice game. So here we go. Now Ohio State's going to use a little bit of motion here to get an advantageous block up. Are we seeing this? I'm seeing this as RPO. This is RPO, right, Kev?
Yes, it's definitely RPO.
And looks like we're reading this backer here. So here we go. From a quarterback perspective, here's what we're looking at. We're reading this backer here to create numbers. We're getting this motion over. So as a quarterback, you have a 3-man face. So we got 3 guys over here. If this guy adds on, we're now 3 for 2 outside with 2 of our best athletes here. So as you see, we'll get to the snap. That linebacker adds on. Jeremiah does an awesome job taking most dangerous. Okay, he takes most dangerous. Then Max loops around for the block out here. This is set up perfectly. A good ball to Carnell. Looks like it could be a massive play, and Ohio State gets a big one.
Yeah, I mean, Jeremiah is showing why he's the best in the country.
In the world. Yeah.
In the world at this age. Like, he's not just catching touchdowns. He's a leader. He's blocking. And this is as good a stock blocking as I've seen this year from anybody. I mean, he's reacting. It looks like he's covering someone. And this is a great play by Carnell to set this. If he cuts this back inside, that's holding.
Right.
That's holding. If he cuts that, I mean, it's a face mask first. I mean, that's absolutely, look at his helmet turn. But if he cuts that back inside, that is a face mask and or holding. But because he cuts it outside, it just looks like a normal play. It just looks like he sealed him off. And that's the beauty of it.
Yeah. It's special stuff. They teach those runners to run off the butts of your blockers, right? Find their butts and run off them. He does a really good job of getting those outside, and then Carnell's just going to use his speed to get up the field. I mean, that is as simple as it can get from an offense. You know, just the execution of this. You know, you're at the 35-yard line. All right, the quarterback's reading one player, right? If this guy moves forward, I'm throwing it. All right, he moves forward, I'm throwing it. Jeremiah does a great job with the stock block. Max gets in good position. Carnell makes him right. And then bang, you get 15, 20, 25, almost 30 yards on just an easy concept, easy play, and gets the Buckeyes rolling into plus territory. Now, a little bit interesting of a wrinkle here. One I didn't see coming. 3rd and 2. We're on the plus side of the 50-yard line. You're at the 26-yard line. In comes Lincoln Keenholz. What was your thoughts when Lincoln came subbed in for Julian on this play?
I was hit or miss on this.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the gadget quarterback because you know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these guys could pin their ears back. I'm glad that he made the play that he did. I mean, he looked great. It's just like as you start playing better and better opponents, you got to mix in a pass with this because they'll just bend their ears back and go if you don't.
Yeah. It was very funny. In the post-game press conference, Ryan Day was asked about this package specifically, and he was like, he made a very conscious effort to say that, hey, we can throw off this, right? And that was something that he made mention of, because he knows any coach watching this tape now knows, hey, we have the game plan for Lincoln Keenholz to come in, and when he does come in, they run Q power with an extra hat. So you got a lead blocker, which is running back, and you got a pulling guard. You also have to prepare for all the pass concepts you might get out of it. So another wrinkle that Ohio State introduced to their run game that other teams, especially as Big Ten play starts up next, that they're going to have to prepare for and be ready for. All right, the third wrinkle in the run game, Bo Jackson, right? We called for him after the Grambling State game. He showed his worth in that game. Really funny. He had 8 carries against Grambling State for 108 yards. Against OU, 9 carries for 109. So currently in his Ohio State career, he's got 7 carries for 217 yards. Or did I say 7? I meant 17 carries for 217. So a really good start by Bo Jackson. And he just feels like, Kevin, he provides an element that is missing, a little bit of explosion to his game. Probably wants to take this one to the house. He gets tripped up by the safety who makes a nice tackle, but really good to see 25 in there making a difference.
I mean, yeah, you see, this is why OU played a good game. And I'll point this out because I pointed out both ways. Look at the line of scrimmage by 3 guys blocking 2, and the OU guys are pushing them back. Like that's – is that Hinsman or is that Montgomery?
That's
Montgomery.
Luke.
Montgomery is 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage by the time the ball clears him. That's where you got to push down, because if you pushed, and I thought 24 made the shoelace tackle, but everybody's getting pushed back here.
Yeah.
And that's where you got to make it. If who knows how Bo runs this, but if you get up there and you're moving guys downfield, you can have a cutback lane that, as this safety full commits to that sideline coverage, which is what he did. Who knows? But this is one where they're like, yeah, didn't play that well. This is an example from an offensive line perspective. Yes, they made all their blocks. But they don't look at the fact that tight ends are blowing people further off the ball. I think that's 2 tight ends there are blowing people further off the ball than it is. Is that Jelani? And no,
we at the bottom here.
The bottom is Big Phil.
Big Phil
and 83. Who is 83? I am losing.
You look up 83's number, but your point remains. That was one of the things, and that's the difference, right? Where you see that we saw this against Texas, where Ohio State wasn't able to run the ball the way they wanted to. A reminder in that game. Let's see, make sure we get it all.
83 freshman tight end Nate Robinson.
There we go, Nate Robinson.
Roberts. I misspoke. Roberts.
Nate Roberts. Welcome to the party. But you go back to the Texas game. Ohio State rushes the ball for 90 yards on 34 carries, which isn't quite good enough. That's not getting the job done. They respond with a 38 carry, 282 yard against Grambling State. Right, you take that with a grain of salt. But last night they were able to get the thing going. 30 carries for 226 yards. Bo was averaging 12 yards a pop. However, in games, once we get into the Big Ten, it's this stuff right. It's this stuff right here where you're 2 yards deep against a MAC school. You're 4 yards deep against Illinois. You're 4 yards deep against Wisconsin. You're 5 yards in the backfield against Michigan. It's that type of stuff that they're going to look to improve upon. All right, here we go. Now down back in the red area. Got to score 3-0. 11 minutes to go in the second quarter. If this looks familiar, it's because it is. Very similar look. 2 different guys pulling, but very similar look to that jump counter or that jump power that Ohio State showed for the first time a couple series ago. And this one hits for a nice gain inside the red zone.
What I talked about earlier with what Luke Montgomery would want to be doing is what I'm going to butcher his name.
Here,
right guard. It's not double T. That's the kick out. So that's the defensive lineman who thinks he's safe and breaks through right there at the top. Sorry, the D lineman at the top breaks through, thinks he's safe, and then he kicks out. So what Austin's job there is, which did a good job of, but probably could have hit it more, is you want to knock that hip over. So the hip of that D tackle, you want to knock that over to kind of clear him out of the hole. He hit him on his shoulder. He needs to get upfield a little bit more and knock the hip, and that'll toss it over that'll toss that guy over into the gap to the right, and then you're able to come up and get 24. And this would be a good play. And thankfully, 45 doesn't clip his ankle here. Maybe he does. I don't know. But C.J. Donaldson, that kickout's good. Clearing the hole's good. And then that Luke Montgomery finishes the pancake. But maybe more of a knockdown, not really a pancake.
Yeah.
But, that's where the little things, a better defensive lineman will clip his leg there and he'll fall on the 9. That's the little stuff you got to get up. He does a good job of stalemating him, but then he's got to knock that hip over a little bit more. It's a B+. It's not bad. It's just not good enough.
And interesting here. So that's Ethan Oniawa. So he was the guy in 78. Ethan Oniawa, who's competing for the right tackle position. Right, he's the transfer from Rice. Philip Daniels wins that job. Now we see him at right guard, right? So that's an interesting little another wrinkle there. You get your big dude, man. That's a big drink of water for the Buckeyes. 6'7", over 330 pounds. So he's a big dude playing guard. But you're right, man. You look at the top of your screen. You want just a little bit more in Austin, then he can get to that second level. And you never know. Maybe that turns into maybe he did slow down enough to lose his momentum. But the bigger issue is that you get into you get into first and goal from the 3-yard line, and now you're looking at third and goal here, and you should have already scored. But this credit to OU. They're frisky, they're tough. And how many times have we seen this in the last year and a half where the ball's thrown up to number 4 and it gets hauled in? Not today. Number 7 for OU had a couple PBUs. He had one good one against Carnell. Another good one there against Jeremiah, breaks it up and forces an Ohio State field goal. It's not good enough for the Buckeyes to not score there, but a good credit to the Bobcats.
Absolutely. I mean, good blocking up front. It was better defensive play. The corner fade doesn't work as much anymore. Referees aren't calling penalties on it anymore. But with a guy like Jeremiah, you think it would. I'm excited for this play.
Yeah, here we go. 4th and 2. Good play here by OU. They just use Ohio State's scheme against them. So Ohio State's very clearly in man-to-man coverage, right? Manned up here. You're going to use motion to get rolling, and then this gets the coverage guy running too. The wide receiver puts his foot in the ground and then gets back into the flat. This is just super simple. I believe that is can't get a read on it. There we go. But just a really good job, Jermaine Matthews there. Yeah, that's Jermaine. He's just in coverage, and he gets moving as he's in man coverage. Wide receiver puts his foot in the ground, back out. Only gets 3 yards, but just enough to move the stick.
Here's why I like that play is because it showed another thing we need to work on. Caleb Downs and Sonny Estelle should not be communicating as that guy's going in motion. Because you know what happens is Sonny doesn't play this as quickly as he should. He isn't recognizing it. And if you watch, he's like hesitant, goes up, hesitant, cuts inside. And instead of just hitting that tight end and going, he misses. And he could have batted this down. But he's hesitant, was all over the place. And that's just an example of cleaning it up. Those two shouldn't be talking like that close to the ball being snapped.
Really good eyes by you. Didn't even notice that. That's great eyes by you. Make sure they're set. Make sure they're ready. You never know. Take that hesitation away. Maybe you do get a knockdown. A good response here by the Buckeyes. So a similar situation. A lot of times in 3rd and short and 4th and short, you get the same personality out of a defense. So Ohio State's manned up. OU tries to run a rub concept where they go slant flat. Right, you're going to get a slant here, and you're going to get into the flat here. When you get man coverage, this isn't great. You want your slant runner to win. He does not. Davison Igbinosun locks him up. Another nice night by Davison. He had one holding penalty, but another solid night by Davison. But a good stop on 3rd down forces the punt.
Caden Curry makes that play.
Let's see it.
He's in the quarterback's lap as he's trying to throw this ball. Takes that.
Wow.
Displaces him, and then hits him as the ball is being released, and that's why it went so high.
Wow, good call. Look at that. 92. Bottom of the hash. Here he is. If you missed him.
Nope.
Right
yeah,
here.
right there. Yep.
Boom. Gets right in there. Wow.
51 had a rough day blocking number 92.
Bang. Look at that. Goes bull rush.
Go back to the top.
Yep. Let me delete these so it runs through.
Yep.
Maybe. There we go. All right.
So wait. Yep. You just had it. Right after it snapped, pause it. So here, go back a little bit.
Yep.
I know I'm trying to nitpick here. If you go back a little bit more and then pause.
Oh. Here we go. I'll go slow-mo.
Stop. So if you watched at the beginning of that, his first step is his inside leg back, and then his outside leg. Watch. His first step is his inside leg back. So that opens up the hips. You lose all stability. You lose everything. You lose your anchor. It's called your anchor foot for a reason. You got your post and your anchor. The anchor is that outside leg that's supposed to be back and brace from a power rush. And then the post is the inside leg that's up. He drops his post foot, and then his anchor turns into his post, but then that opens up his hips, and he tries to adjust mid-play, and that's what causes this. That's where you talk about linemen having bad feet. That's bad feet from that guard number 51 right there.
Yeah, that's a tough scene. And, you see it. That forced Caden Curry's rush right there, forced a high throw, which forced a punt, which got the football back to Ohio State. Now, this was a really good one up front. The boys up front were protecting. I think Julian stays on this along. This feels super long to me to get to. I'm going to stick with it and just kind of let it run through. He gets all the way back across the field to Jeremiah on a curl. There's just no pressure at all. And when you're living back in that world right there, you could stay in back there for feels like hours trying to just find one open guy, and number 4 is usually going to be open for you.
Yeah, I mean that it's also a great job by I'm going to tap you for the name here. The right guard,
Oniawa, like he's getting bold. Big Philly D is getting would have been a holding call. Oniawa comes at the right time and then throws him on top of Phil, so Phil doesn't get the holding call. Right
and
here.
That's just veteran play right there.
Well, you know what, Kev? You know what? I mean, Oniawa, he's a 3-year starter at Rice. Okay, he's played it. Yep. Philip Daniels is a sophomore. Okay, coming from Minnesota. It's two totally different guys, two nasty dudes playing alongside each other. I really like Oniawa being in there in that guard position. And Coach Day talked about it. He felt like he's got 8-9 guys who he's comfortable going to, and you see him starting to go there. And this is a really good example. This play here, just a really good example of 11 guys executing at once. Okay, so you get, I think what this is, you're going to get curl, you're going to get flat, you're going to get flat. So it's just a typical curl flat concept. The flat comes from the tight end. So you're going to get your flat route here. You're going to get over the ball check down. You're going to get a flat route here. You're going to get curl and curl as your play call. So you get 11 guys. Wrong button. You get 11 guys, maybe 11 guys doing their job. They block it well. The quarterback sees it well, doesn't force it, gets all the way through, and makes a really nice completion. Big gain for the Buckeyes. Now, Bo Jackson, another good run up the middle. We'll take 10 yards every time. Every time you can get it, you'll take 10 yards, and I'd love to see 25 doing his thing.
Nothing special here from an O-line perspective, just hard-nosed football, and they move the line of scrimmage.
Love it. And you'll see this. Just do a mental picture, everybody watching at home, mental picture of this concept, this formation into this motion. It's really cool seeing something come up and then watching them build off of it. So we'll come back to that. All right. This is Tight End Podcast. Max Clare in the end zone for the first time as a Buckeye. Good job by Julian creating some time, creating some space. Good job up front. Max Clare finds pay dirt for the first time at Ohio State.
We knew it was coming. I'm impressed with Julian running, throws in the air, and hits him right in the numbers.
Awesome.
fantastic.
And really good. Watch Max here. So Max catches the ball on this side of the field.
Yeah, hold on. Also watch CJ Donaldson on this.
There we go. Watch CJ. Keep your eye on 12. As we roll through this, keep your eye on Max. He starts on the other side of the field. CJ, bang, great blitz pickup. And then Max just works across, stays alive. You know, you love seeing that out of your wide receiver. Stay alive, stay in front of your quarterback. Be a big target for him. Quarterbacks love tight ends. You see why right there. Boom. All right, 13-0. Feel good about where you're at. And then OU gets the ball back, and here come the boys up front. We called for this in our pregame. Hey, we wanted to see Ohio State's defensive line, make their presence known. Caden McDonald gets in there, gets a nice sack coming from the D-line position.
What's crazy is on this play, 59 was supposed to pull out and help with that defensive end.
Oof.
And Caden prevents him from doing that because he blows off the ball so quickly. Knocks over the center on his way through.
Wow.
And because of that, CJ Hicks is able to, I think that's CJ at the top, is able to get pressure that forces this guy back inside the pocket. And that's where Caden's waiting.
All right. So what you're explaining here, Kev, is this guy right here is supposed to be pulling over across, but we're getting a block down. I think it's this way, but Caden blows it all up. You'll see it there. Bang. Blows it all up. Doesn't let anybody get through. It creates a sack. That's awesome. Yeah. That's high motor. It's high motor stuff right there, high physicality stuff. And here come the boys. 3rd and 18, scary stuff, right? You got that odd front. Then you got Arvell and Sonny. Here's Arvell. Here's Sonny. Just kind of like looking at there's Arvell. He adds on. It don't matter. The boys get home. I think that's CJ kind of crawling around. He's up top. It's Caden in the middle. It's a whole party at the quarterback. This is awesome. This is what you're looking for. From this defensive line. I
mean, that is eerily reminiscent of Joey Bosa's sack against Penn State in 2014, where he used an offensive lineman to make the sack. And then he actually, I remember watching this on TV, he causes a fumble here.
Yeah.
He fumbled, but 8 pins it to his thigh and then gets it back. Where if that's a fumble, Bo Atkinson is right there for his first touchdown as a Buckeye.
Which would have been sweet. Awesome play. Caden Curry making his presence felt, man, which is awesome. So OU punts it back to the Buckeyes. And this one, this one's kind of tough. So remember earlier when I said, this defensive lineman's in a spy, right? But it's not a spy for a run. This is a spy for a possible deflection, okay? And you see him here, right? Just watch this guy. He doesn't rush the quarterback. He just sits and waits. And when he does that, he can just watch the eyes of the quarterback. He gets his hands on it. The ball just pinballs around. This is one where, as a quarterback, you're just pissed off because it's frustrating. You should see through this. But also, too, it's a defensive lineman. Shouldn't be there in theory, but he is. And this is a good one to learn off of because he's certain Julian's never seen, anything like this. And when your eyes are on the linebackers, you're like, hey, I got my open guy over the middle. This is our Hank concept, okay? We've talked about this a number of times. Boom, 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 and then into the flat, right? You're just reading the linebackers in the middle. If they clear out, which they both do, you're saying, I'm throwing it, but there's a defense lineman who dropped into the zone. That ball popcorns around, and now OU's got the ball. 1st and 10 on the 40. One to learn from because it's going to come back around.
Yep.
Absolutely going to be something that we will see later on because it worked. But again, here we go. 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9. We were going to get to a point this year where we just block out the third down or this down and distance because you can see it. 3 down linemen, your 2 linebackers kind of sitting there ready to go. They have quarterback draw up, which in theory against 6 defensive backs should work, but it doesn't because you're running against Arvell Reese and 6 defensive backs who are hungry to make tackles, and they only get a 2-yard gain out of it.
Yep.
Roll through. There you go. Arvell stacks it up. Bo finishes up top, and there you go. So they go into half 13-3, and you feel like, all right, Ohio State's got a chance to kind of pull away a little bit. Instead, OU comes out. Park Navarro comes back in. So they had the backup quarterback Navarro left with an injury. He comes back in and immediately makes a big play on 1st down. They did a read option. where he gained 8 yards, and then he responds with a 68 or 67-yard touchdown pass, which wasn't a perfect throw by any means, just a really nice play by everybody on the Bobcats, by this wide receiver to get in the end zone. And now you're like, uh-oh, this isn't good. This is when the weird upset stuff starts to creep into your mind, and the tension in that stadium, you can really start to feel it.
Yeah, no, there's nothing really to say. Just good play by that kid. Fits it through the arm somehow, and then
get him down.
Where you gotta man up and squish out that last little bit of hope that they have, because this is where they felt it.
Yeah, you want to get him down here. Obviously, that's easier said than done, but he gets in the end zone. OU does miss the extra point, so you get a little bit of that reprieve. So it's 13-9, and again, this all happened within 1 minute of the second half starting. Bo Jackson slams the door on any type of potential comeback with this awesome run here by the freshman.
Yep, what a great run.
Just get skinny through the hole. Like, this is the cool part about it for me. They just go straight zone up front. So you're just double teaming, getting to the second level. But it's right here for me where that's not a big hole. That's not a big hole to run through. He gets nice and skinny through there and then goes jump cut, boom, on the safety, and then hits it. I wrote about this. I called this fourth gear because he does get hawked down. He still needs to get to that last little gear there, but gets the Buckeyes set up inside the 10-yard line.
Yep. I mean, this guy's 1 year removed from an ACL injury that kept him out of his whole senior year of college.
It's a good point. Cleveland kid, one of us, Villa Angela St. Joe, over on the east side of town. Good for him to start making his impact. And he got like real reps. Like, these weren't, this wasn't cleanup reps. He was getting real reps there and doing so in a nice way. So really good. So this is one of the ones that I wanted to talk about. Looking specifically at the OU secondary, the one thing that just came to mind for me was just discipline. Just in the right spots, doing a good job passing guys off. Like, watch Jeremiah get passed from the corner to the safety. The linebackers got his eyes on number 4. And even watch this corner here at the bottom of your screen. He's got eyes to the back because he knows, hey, one of these guys is coming open. Julian does an awesome job here of not forcing anything, flushing out of the pocket, checking it down to CJ. CJ ends up scoring on this one, but his freaking big toe steps on the out-of-bounds line right there. Right in there is where he steps out, literally by this much. But a nice job by the Bobcats, and it forces, Kevin, this is what you talked about. You got to find ways on third downs and in the red zone. You got to punch this thing in the end zone because settling for field goals isn't going to cut it against better teams.
Right.
You go. He punches it through. Boom. He gets it. He almost gets it in. Instead, Ohio State settles for another field goal, and then the defense starts to hunt. So Ohio State gets a little bit of breathing room. The guy to watch here is Arvell Reese, right? Here's our third down package. 6 DBs, 3 down linemen, 2 linebackers. Yes, it is third and long. Watch Arvell Reese. This closing speed here is special stuff. He's floating, spying, and then he goes. And when he triggers, man, he triggers. That's an awesome play.
Great play by him to get his hands up and not just go for the sack for our first-year guy. It's a veteran play. That's just great coaching by Laurinaitis to get those hands up, swat that ball down, and then force him into a punt.
If you remember this is the play they let run out as a touchdown. It was like very clearly.
I knew it instantly. That was
it's like they were rushing it back to the house. I'm like, what are we even doing here?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Big ball to Jeremiah. So what did I say? Take a mental picture of the orbit motion into the run. We just saw this play 10 minutes ago here on our film episode. This time they have a little wrinkle off of it. So Carnell stops. They fake the run. All right, we saw this. You didn't see Jeremiah going 50 to the crib, and he does that here. Perfect ball. This is the one where you're talking, hey, throw this thing nice and high. Let your guy adjust to it. This was perfect by Julian. Perfect play design, perfect execution, and the Buckeyes were back on the board.
Yeah, it's 50 yards right on the spot. It needs to be. And I don't even know if anyone's covering Max Clare on this deep route.
Yeah. There's Max. Hey, dude, I'm open to
there. But, that's just another example of
this is the stuff I love.
In this team.
Yeah, watch Brandon Ennis here. You'll see him right here. I'll circle him. But this is the stuff I love. Right here, you see him. He knows the ball's in the air. He's pointing up.
Yep.
He's saying touchdown. You just love to see that type of stuff. That's the ego part of it, where this team is so selfless that they get in these situations and doesn't matter who's catching it. They just want points.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go. 3rd and 9. A little bit new look here. Okay, 4-down lineman. Now you're getting Ohio State in man-to-man coverage. Okay, good job here by OU to run a nice little man beater in a new look. Okay, they're used to seeing that zone look with 3-down linemen, 6 DBs. You're going to run what's called under, where you get a little slant and you get a little rub, and they set it up beautifully here. Very nicely done. Impossible to cover. I don't care who you are. It could be Denzel Ward out there. I guess today's a bad day to describe that, but it could be anybody out there. You get a man beater up against man coverage, makes it pretty impossible.
Yep.
All right, Buckeyes adjust back. 3rd and 10. We get into our typical look. This is the stuff you can do. In that looks like you got 6 guys down on the line of scrimmage. They all start zoning out, and it ends up being a 2-man rush. You get Davison, who tries to add on, but he gets kind of blocked up. So it ends up being a 2-man rush. But Caden Curry, unlimited motor on this guy, and gets his paw up there, makes a really nice deflection.
Oh, yeah. Great play out of him here. He's kind of twisting because he's the contain guy technically. He's just fighting his way across and does a great job of getting his hand up late when he knew he wasn't going to get to the quarterback.
Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy because these are the blitzers, okay? All these guys zone out. Caden, like you said, becomes the contain guy. You're going to get a little fake zone off and blitz there by Arvell. Then you're going to get CJ to drop, and then Davison becomes the third rusher. So that's the crazy part about being able to do this, is that you still bring 3 guys, you drop 8 in the coverage. It's just you don't know which 3 are coming and which 8 are dropping. It's diabolical stuff, and it's an NFL level type of stuff here. All right, here we go. Bo gets a nice completion here. Julian catches the snap, but does a good job getting through his progressions. Everyone's covered up. Really nice job. You can see him get through it. Boom. He wanted to throw it. Probably could have. Probably should have thrown it, but he was all off timing. Get it down to your running back. Good job there, Max. Make a big play. And Bo punishes and makes a nice finish there. Then we go play action. Get it going. Jeremiah over the middle. Okay. So every time Jeremiah's been off play action, it's that big post. Instead, he goes with the dig. You get Carnell on the big post. You get a nice little run action. Really sell it hard. And then see it all the way through, Julian. Well done. Get it down to number 4. Don't fumble the football. Good protection up front. Go ahead.
Jump back on that. Good protection. Nothing special there.
Yeah.
Just wait to lock him up.
Yeah, that late add on there, but all good when you see that coming through. And then boom, let's get Carnell involved. Here we go. Big ball to Carnell. This is a very typical route concept, whatever you call it. I called it pig back in the day. It's post dig from the same side. So you're going to get Carnell on the post, and you're going to get Brandon on the dig route. This is an awesome quarters beater. So for anybody playing NCAA at home or Madden at home, if you're getting quarters coverage, which we're getting here, they cloud this. So when you're getting this dig route that by Ennis makes this safety drive. And when that safety drive, there is nothing left up top. And you'll see Carnell Tate run to freedom, man. Run to that green grass. And that's a perfect throw. That is an absolutely perfect throw. Get 17 back in the end zone.
Beautiful.
All right, here we go. Here's our boy, Bo Atkinson. Top of your screen on the top hash. Let's get you your first sack. Awesome stuff. And he shows it here. Excited as heck. Him and Caden are in on it. And then the Buckeyes finish it out. Let's get Jeremiah a 17-yard touchdown run. A little reverse. Get the boys out in front. Carson, go find somebody. Nobody. Hey, Carson and Austin leading the boys, leading Jeremiah home and getting him into the end zone for Ohio State's 37 to what it was the final 37-9 victory over the OU Bobcats. A fun one for Ohio State, one that you're happy about. You can build upon that, and you can you really can go into the bye week feeling decent about that. So, Kev, we got a bye week coming up. Big one for Ohio State. A lot of work to be done. It's kind of the vibe going into Big Ten play. How's that locker room change? And how does that feel when you flip the switch from non-conference play to now it's Big Ten time?
It's a different animal. We can get into more of it on our next show. Let's tease the next show with dragging more people that need this to our weekly stuff. Let's get some viewers up.
There we go.
You want to hear more about what it's like to get into Big Ten play? Join us on tomorrow night. We'll do it tomorrow night or Tuesday night. We'll figure that out. Monday night.
Yeah,
perfect.
Monday, tomorrow night.
I don't know if we were different because of the bye week. I don't know if we're doing Tuesday, Thursday because of the bye week, but that's future us problem.
We'll let you guys know. We'll have shows. Have shows.
Yeah, let's dive into that. We're going to look for stuff to talk about. Let's talk about that during the bye week.
Love it. Love it. Awesome. Well, my job's wrapped up. We're getting out of here on that. Ohio State 37-9 winners over the OU Bobcats. A fun episode here. If you like these film review episodes, let us know. We jump into the comments section. We're active in there. So drop a comment. If you learned something today, the rule is you got to subscribe. So if you learned something new, you got to subscribe to the channel and go check out Kevin. Drop the video on Buckeye Roundtable. There we go. Bang. Right there. Love it. Everybody head over there. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. For my partner, Kevin Woidke, I'm Anthony Moeglin. We'll see you soon here on Buckeyes Roundtable.